When you walk up to the vehicle with the key, it has a full proximity key system. And when you walk up to it, it actually senses the key and allows you to access the vehicle and everything, but it doesn't turn on any exterior lights, interior lights, or anything like that. But when you hit the unlock button, now the interior lights turn on, and basically the parking lights turn on. So we have some lights here in the front and the back. So the headlight switch, so you can turn it to headlights, automatic, parking, and headlights off. You can actually drive the vehicle with the headlights off. It's pretty interesting. And also it has the fog lights controlled here. But let's go ahead and put it on parking lights for right now. The parking lights are basically these little LED strips here. And you would think that this little halo would illuminate at this point, but it doesn't. And they're not overly bright, so you're not going to mistake these for headlights or anything like that. There's also an amber side marker here in the front that's now on. A red side marker here in the back. And the taillights are a little bit visible on the sides as well. They're a nice deep red taillight. And these are actually LED, these parts here. And there's also some regular halogen bulbs in there as well. We'll get to that in a second. But tag lights are not on. There's two of them, nice bright LEDs. Mostly on the tag, not so much on the ground. The turn signal here on the front is amber in color. It's an LED, and it's right there. It's actually two of them, kind of stacked on top and bottom of that parking light. And it's not overly bright. It's actually not that bright at all, relatively speaking. Could be a little bit brighter, I would say. There's no turn signal indicator here on the side of the vehicle, but there is one here in the back, and it's a halogen bulb. It's amber in color. It's integrated into the tail light here. And you can see, hopefully I'm turn the brightness down so you can see there, because the color kind of gets a little wonky when I have the brightness too high on the camera. So yeah, it's amber in color, and so on camera it's hard to tell the color difference, but the outer portion is a nice deep red, and the inner portion is a nice amber color, so you can definitely tell the difference. And it's, once again, not overly bright back here. Now the brake light is a LED bar at the top of the glass in the back of the vehicle, and the reverse lights are integrated at the bottom of the tail lights. So let's go to the low beams here, and let's turn the fog lights on and off so you can see the difference there. It's mostly close to the vehicle, a little bit wider pattern. Go ahead and turn all that on. All right, so you notice that the is a projector housing, and you notice this little halo piece doesn't illuminate, so it's just kind of there for looks. It's a projector LED, low and high beam out of the same projector. And same thing with the fog light, it's a projector LED. All right, so let's step back here and we'll see about where the cutoff is. All right, so it's gonna dip down. See, it's standing up right now. I can look directly at the headlight. It's not blinding me at all. But I've dipped the camera down about right there, which is about 2.5, 3 feet off the ground. Then it becomes very bright. So all the light is below that level, basically, when you have the low beams on. But yeah, I think it's a good looking vehicle. With the headlights here on the front. Okay, let's go ahead and switch to high beams there. You can see they're pretty high. All right, so, and the fog lights turn off when you turn on the high beams. So the high beams are basically the same projector. It's not gonna look much different here on the front because it's basically using that same projector for the high beams. Now, it appears there's an additional light that turns on and shines through that projector. But we'll look at it when we're going on a dark road to see how they perform. Cargo light's kind of interesting because as it is right now, there's a single light here on the right side. And you can see it's in this very low position, very dim. It only basically illuminates this little area right here. Especially when you have stuff here, it just casts a shadow. You can see there's stuff all the way in here that's completely dark. So not sure what they're thinking about that. But it does have this little light right here, which you can turn on. You press this illuminated button here. Now we have these two lights right here that illuminate the ground nice and bright, and they kind of pivot, so you can kind of pivot them into the cargo area and out. So if you want them into the cargo area, you can do that, or you can have them out on the ground and completely way out here. So yeah, let's go ahead and pivot those inward. and inward, and they're fairly bright. So now they're really good, bright over-the-shoulder lights. So this helps out a whole lot. So when I stand here, I don't really block the light too much, especially since there's two of them and they're to the right and left of me. So this really helps out with the nighttime usability of the cargo area. It's not perfect, but it is pretty neat. A little solution there to a, just a really poor light to begin with. The inside of the back door, there's no puddle lights, no approach lights, no pocket lights, nothing. Only one light, and that's for the power window. The back seats have a light. Basically, it's just coming from a dome light there in the center. So it's just overall poor, especially considering it's a black interior, but just overall, it's just poor lighting back here. There is USB ports back here that are also not backlit. You can't even see them. I mean, they're right in here somewhere. Let's see if we can find them. Yeah, they're down there. But yeah, they're not backlit illuminated. They should be, really. The inside of the driver's door, there's no puddle lights, no approach lights, no pocket lights, nothing like that. We just have the backlit buttons here, which all the buttons are backlit, which is good. There's no floorboard illumination, and the only lights coming here in the front are coming from the little tap lights there in the center. So yeah, it's not really all that great, and it even gets worse as we go on. So I'm gonna have to show you the inside here before it gets too dark. It has the backlit buttons here on the door, the steering wheel, here. But the reason why I'm doing this before it's completely dark is because the glove compartment has no light, the center console has no light, there is a compartment here that has no light, here it has no light, the floorboard's no illumination, so it's pretty much dark everywhere. There's nothing really to show off here. It does have these, reading lights in which you help out here and here. It shines in the lap area. It does have a visor with has lights. So that you see the displays here. I'm going to go through the brightness levels, so you can see the different levels there. So you can see it's not just the gauges, it's other lights as well. But yeah, there's a lot of, it's a little bit problematic using this vehicle at night because there's so little lighting up here, especially the compartments here. It's kind of an issue. Even has the auto, there's no auto dim here either. It's a day and night mode, this manual. So there's the headlight pattern on the fence. That's the low beams, there's the high beams. So you can see there's a little bit of a jaggedness to it, and it's supposed to have a slight shadow on the oncoming lane, but we'll see how that actually looks on the road. You can see, I don't know if you can see that, it's a little bit of a shadow on the oncoming lane, and it looks kind of like a shadow notch. It's usually referred to as a notch, but it's intended to be that. All vehicles have this, but not all of them work perfectly. As we go down this little dip right here, we'll hopefully be able to see if the low beams are working. Yeah, it looks like most of that shadow is on the oncoming lane. So yeah, it looks like that's working fine. We do have good visibility close to the vehicle on the sides, especially with the fog lights. So let's turn those off. Yeah, either way, the fog lights adds a little bit of light close to the vehicle, but still the headlights are handling that wide pattern really well with the illumination there on the sides of the road. Up close to the vehicle anyway. Hopefully, yeah, it's got a little bit of a distance as well, but the cutoff is basically like 150, 200 feet in front of the vehicle was pretty much dark on the low beams. Okay. So hopefully there won't be too much traffic down here. Okay, so there's the low beams, which are not all that great. They're okay. There's the high beams. Yeah, I can see the trees there in the distance. A little bit of patchiness on the road. It looks like that shadow's still there, though. It appears that the high beams are just adding an additional light through that same projector, which is giving us better distance and a higher position of the light. But yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's fairly bright. I can see a good distance. There's a little bit of patchiness, but which puts that shadow a little bit on my lane. But yeah, that's just kind of more intermediate light there. But yeah, I can see pretty decent here on the sides of the road. I can see the trees. I can see the sides of the road. And I can see, yeah, I would say these are fairly well done. Considering we only have 2 projectors, the patchiness is actually not to be expected, I guess. We only have 2 lights to overlap and spread out this much light over this much area. The high beams. The low beams are still good, but they're just not that far distance, which the high beams make up for that. Yeah, I would say they're not like excellent headlights. I would say they're adequate for this type of vehicle. And yeah, I think I would be satisfied with these headlights. They're in the satisfactory range, I guess you can say. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. There's some pluses and minuses on this vehicle for sure. Really not liking the fact that the interior pockets and stuff are not illuminated. That's just doesn't make any sense to me. But you know, I guess that weird situation where you have really crappy cargo lights, but then you have these other lights which turn on, which kind of make up for it a little bit. Yeah, it's a strange vehicle, and it's one of those type of vehicles that helps out seeing a night video like this, so you can see what they actually do. You know, like especially those cargo lights, what it actually does at nighttime. And so yeah, and you know, like if you're hanging out behind the vehicle, let's say you had like a little picnic or something behind the vehicle at night for some reason, those lights would definitely help out. They're more so outside the vehicle, kind of spread around the back of the vehicle, and also you can tilt them for the cargo. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I've never seen that type of light before, where you can pivot it back and forth and the brightness level and all that stuff. I haven't seen that in a vehicle before, so that's pretty interesting. So anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.